Hi Kriegsspielers, this is Umpire Lefondios with a spectator report of the Siege of Szekszard. I did not umpire, nor did I play in the game, but thought it interesting enough to spectate and bring you this report. The game was created and run by umpires Puxus Adolfus and Ronin. It was a test game for a larger campaign that they are running, and I'm sharing it because it illustrates how varied the Kriegsspiel games can be. The lost battles of 1684 have left the Grand Vizier worried. Because of this, he has gathered a force of 70,000 men throughout the spring, and he is marching to Buda. From there, he intends to reconquer the losses of the past year. To ensure safe passage to Buda, he has strengthened the key forts along the Danube. However, even though the Grand Vizier is camped not too far from Belgrade with his mighty force, news has reached Szekszard that Habsburg imperial troops have appeared along the Drava River and are now targeting forts along the Danube. Word has spread that an imperial army is just south of the town. Because of the Great Turkish War campaign that they are running, Puxus and Ronin had to design a system that would be compatible with the whole campaign. They created a 3-day turn cycle which allows both sieges and marches on a campaign map. This was intended to be a short siege, though the Imperials took their time preparing things. Historically, the Ottomans preferred fighting to the last man, which was not common in Western warfare. This siege is being conducted by the Holy Roman Empire to seize an Ottoman bastion called a palanca. The walls of these forts are usually made of wood and earth. This makes them easy to repair. However, the walls and towers are not meant to stand against long sieges. Forts this size never really acted as a proper defensive choke point. Rather, they just annoyed the enemy and provided outposts to slow down the foe. The Ottoman forces are small, as shown here in the yellow circles. The fort of Szekszard is in the center of the map, and Yeni Palanka is in the north. On the left, you see the Holy Roman Empire's order of battle. Their forces are much more numerous than the Ottoman defenders. On the right, you see the garrisons in yellow, and red X's where the Imperials plan to set up camps. Their plan is to use these 4 camps in order to cut the line of communication between the 2 garrisons. On day 1, a small skirmish takes place in the south, circled here in yellow, between Croatian Hussars and the provincial Sipahis. The Imperials are slowed down, but they manage to force the Ottomans back behind the outer walls. After this skirmish, the Imperial infantry and cavalry begin to arrive. While the infantry and cavalry is marching in the hills to arrive between the 2 forts, the southern German regiments start making camp, but are harassed by artillery from the fort. Eventually, the Imperials reach out into the plains and separate the 2 palankas, as shown in the red circles. After 4 hours, most of the units are in position. They take a short break for a late lunch, while some are gathering wood to build camps. By the end of the day, ad hoc camps are built and under artillery harassment. On day 2 and 3, the defenders are constantly bombarding the besiegers. On the second day, 30 Imperials perish while destroying the town's outer palisades. On the third day, 40 are lost while creating a parallel trench in the east and constructing artillery platforms. On day 4, looking at the red circle, a small group of Sipahis from the Yeni Palanka in the north managed to set fire to the camp fortifications in the night. However, they are noticed and chased back. The mission is a success, with 10 men being lost overall. Another group of cavalry from Yeni Palanka search for weak points in the enemy but are noticed. The mission fails and they have to retreat. Mortar positions at Regiment Leslie in the west are being set up and are completed by evening. There are casual bombardment on all fronts. In the yellow circle, the southeast tower of Szekszard is bombarded heavily and is in ruins. The Leslie Regiment suffers 30 casualties. On day 5, during the day, the northern camp walls have undergone repairs following the previous pillaging and show signs of resilience. However, the situation is not good. The southeast tower, though barely standing, still holds its ground, but the surrounding walls are on the verge of collapse. Continued bombardment takes a toll on the Leslie Regiment in the west, resulting in another 30 casualties. Meanwhile, mortars began their relentless bombardment of Szekszard, causing 10 casualties among the defenders. Under the cover of darkness, the Ottomans in the Szekszard garrison launch a massive night raid with over 200 soldiers. The Imperials are ready and react well to the attackers, inflicting casualties. However, the Ottomans believe they can swiftly storm outward and burn the wagons due to the limited visibility. Their plan quickly unravels, and chaos ensues as the Azabs falter, ultimately leading to the collapse of their attack. In the aftermath, the Ottomans suffer a loss of 60 men, while the Leslie Regiment loses a relatively minor 20 soldiers. On day 6 of the siege, the southeast tower of Szekszard crumbles into ruins. But the determined defenders, against all odds, manage to erect a few makeshift wooden barricades in their place. The once dominant artillery on the tower is now buried beneath layers of earth, rendered silent. The adjacent walls share the same fate, reduced to rubble and debris. Amidst this chaos, the Imperials continue their relentless mortar bombardment, though their efforts yield little effect. The Ottomans retaliate with their own mortars, forcing the formidable 12-pound batteries to withdraw. On day 7, the Imperials dig parallel trenches in the north and erect an earth platform for their artillery. Their work is disturbed by Ottoman cavalry, which inflicts minor casualties on them. In the west, the two mortars target each other. The Imperials injure some of the Ottoman gunners, while the Ottomans destroy the platforms of the Imperial mortars. Due to these events, both artilleries are disabled for the rest of the day and the next one. In the southeast, the Imperials dig their parallel 200-meter trenches from the wall for storming, as Szekszard's lower tower and walls are now rubble. Day 8. In the morning, Ottoman Azabs stand on the ruins of a destroyed tower. They observe the enemy gathering in the trenches, but then artillery fire is directed towards them, killing a few before they fall back. Next, the Roth Regiment emerges from the trenches, forming up into 4 companies, despite some harassment from the Azabs. The first company begins the assault, but the Azabs fiercely hold them back with relentless fire, despite their limited numbers. The Imperials suffer minimal losses and then fix their plug bayonets, charging up to the rugged tower. The Ottomans are immediately routed, and the Delis and Timurets fill their ranks as the melee continues. The desperate defenders fight almost to their last man, managing to kill 60 Imperials in the process. At last, however, their numbers dwindle, and they lose 30 men in combat. The Imperials gain ground and start flooding the fort. The Ottomans, believing in the goodwill of Field Marshal Leslie, lay down their weapons rather than fighting to the last man. After roughly 1 hour of fighting, the town of Szekszard falls. On behalf of Puxus Adolfus, Ronin, and myself, Lafondios, thank you for watching this after-action review. We hope it intrigued you and demonstrated the diversity of periods and technologies we explore at the International Kriegsspiel Society. We'll see you out there on the Kriegsspiel board.